call this road committee meeting to order. I'd like to thank our road department for being here today. All of our commissioners here today, Mayor Davis, Adam. Thank y'all for coming out. If I could get approval of May 30th, 2023 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those say aye.
Aye.
We're going to get right into some of our agenda items this morning. We've got letter A for Springbranch Road.
I'm going to let Josh, my assistant, update you on that. He's been doing the research on that project.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh. I'm Tom's assistant. Thank you guys for being here. Tom's going to let me go through some of these agenda items. And he said if I mess up, I'm fired. So we're going to see how it goes. So the first one's Springbranch Road. There's a guy, Mr. James Rue. He's a real nice older guy that lives out there. And it's a dead-end road, and he's got everybody turning around in his yard. And we're figuring out how to solve that problem. He's offered to do a land swap with us, where he's going to deed us a little section of his property before the dead end, and then we're going to deed him some of the road that's right in front of his house, and then we're going to do a turnaround before you get to his house. And it'll be big enough for school buses to turn around, and it'll solve the problem of everybody going in his yard to turn around. So we got a surveyor contracted. It's Christian Meter Surveying, and they're going to be out there in the next couple months or so, maybe even sooner. So we'll get that worked out.
Hey, Josh.
I would add something there. Now this is something, his property, the road was cut into when they developed the industrial park. It used to go beyond his house, so it wasn't a problem about people turning around in his driveway. But when they cut the road into right there at his house, then his driveway became a turnaround. And that's why we're trying to help the fella out.
Okay, Tom. Now, let me get straight. Is this over by Jenkins? Is that what we're talking about, Springbranch Road?
No, it's off of Brymer Creek Road.
Okay, so I'm,
McDonald.
okay. All right.
Go ahead. I just want to throw that in there. We weren't just trying to help somebody out just for the heck of it, but actually the road was cut into to do the Springbranch industrial development.
All right, moving on to subdivisions. We got a couple subdivisions going in Bradley County. And in the past, the road department didn't test in the recent years whenever roads were getting put in. And some of the developers are kind of frustrated about that. But that's something the road department's got to do. We got to make sure the county specs are met. You need enough rock and you need enough asphalt before we can take the road in. And we test that. So there's a subdivision on Bellingham Drive that they just got done paving. And he's going to want that road taken in. And we've got some testing scheduled out there, but we wanted to go ahead and request that y'all have a work session on that one, so we can go and get the ball rolling on that, not hold him up any longer than we have to, and then the testing will get done around the same time that y'all are voting on it probably. So.
I'll do that at the. Put it on the work session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. Next one is the state aid work projects.
Let me make a comment. Good. All right, Chairman. At Bellingham, that's where I live. It's gone in 3 different phases. There's been a damn problem on the pavement on every phase.
Really?
So I only ask that you do your diligence.
Yes, sir. And
I know we've had to ram it through here twice. First two phases come up to our level to make sure that I'm very familiar with it. Thank you.
yes, sir. I will say on that,
Yeah.
they were short on rock, and they were really short in some spots. And if we
Yeah, they're
didn't check
short
it,
on
then the
that,
road would have
short
blown
on-
out pretty quick.
Hey,
But we're making sure that they fix that.
Hey, Josh, do you want us to put that on the next
Yes, sir.
commission meeting?
Bellingham Drive road intake.
So you want the work session to be the form that you fill out, that has all the information on it, and then they will put it on a voting session agenda to take it in and accept it?
Right.
Okay,
All right, so next one is our proposed annual state aid projects. I got a list here of the projects for this budget year
Yeah.
from state aid.
Let me interrupt you one second. I'm sorry. Let's get a vote on that right now and to put it on for the full commission. That's from Howard. Second from Lefford. All those approve? They approve. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So I got the list here for our state aid jobs coming up for this budget year. First one is Lauderdale, or no, it's not. It's Walker Valley Road, and that's coming up here soon. We're going to start paving that the first week of September. We've already had our pre-construction with TDOT, and everything's good to go. So we're starting that first week of September. After that, we've got Bancroft Road coming up, and we've already had some meetings about that, and that's in the works. So after Walker Valley Road's done, we'll be able to jump right into Bancroft Road. That'll be this year. The next one will be, it'll be in 2024, but the same budget year. That's going to be Kinzer Road and New Hope Road. And then also that year, we're going to start on replacing the bridge on Pleasant Grove Place. We've got engineering going on, and we're talking to TDOT on that. They should start that, and we're thinking May 2024 is what it's looking like, and then that'll take about a year to do that bridge. Next one's Brymer Creek. Brymer Creek, that bridge is pretty much done. You might see some people out there working underneath the bridge. They're doing some stuff with the riprap, but the bridge is good to go. It's a real good bridge. It's open. People are driving on it. And the same company that built Brymer Creek Bridge, they're also doing Tunnel Hill Bridge. And they're way behind on schedule on that one. They're supposed to be done with both of those bridges, I believe, last December. They were supposed to be done. And it's looking like they probably won't even be done with Tunnel Hill in 2024. It's not going to be till 2024 that they finish up that. But they've almost got half the bridge built. They've got one lane open on the old bridge, and they're trying to open up one lane on the new bridge. So once they open up the one lane on the new bridge, they'll tear the old bridge down, then they'll start working on the other half of the bridge. And they still got a lot of work to do on that. Next one is Wacker Boulevard. We talked about this last meeting, and that road was built a while back, and it never got on the county road list, but we looked and checked, and the land itself was deeded from the state of Tennessee to Bradley County. So Bradley County already owns Wacker Boulevard and the land on it. And there are some dips in the road that we were thinking the state could maybe fix, but since the state's already deeded it to Bradley County, we're thinking we should go ahead and get it on the county road list. And I wanted to request that y'all have a work session on that one too to see about taking in that road.
Is that
That's Wacker Boulevard.
Walker? Dave, motion. Lefford. Let me get a second, and then we'll do a question. Second. Go ahead for question.
That's off of Lauderdale Memorial Highway.
Is it a paved road or?
It's a paved road. It's industrial paved road.
I don't get up that way much, I guess.
That is inside of not Olin. Is that the road you were talking about the last time we talked? Is that inside of the plant, the Wacker Boulevard? Is that inside of their parking lot? Like, no, it's on the outside.
This road runs from Lauderdale up to Old Lower River Road,
Okay.
which is the Olin Road.
Yeah, okay.
And a little
Yep.
history about it, why it's not a county road as of right now. When I was in here before, when I was road superintendent before, this is an industrial access road. That was a program the state had several years ago, that if you had a big industry coming in, they'd build you a road to connect it to a state highway. Well, that's what this is, an industrial access. I was working with one of the TDOT folks, Ken Flynn, when I retired, and the road was virtually done, but there was 2 or 3 places where there were some great dips in the road, where I think maybe the drainage structures underneath had settled. And I kept telling him, we need that fixed before we take it, as a county road. Well, anyway, I retired and he retired, and the ball just got dropped, basically. But Josh did the research, and they had deeded their property over to the county, so it is county property. It's just a matter of voting on it to take it in and agreeing that since there's nobody else that we can get to repair those dips in the road, I feel like that, we may have dropped the ball ourselves, and we probably need to repair those places and take this road in.
You gotta bring it up before we could take it in though, right? Gotta bring it up.
Well, I think it needs to go through a work session and then be voted on by the full commission.
But it's, you don't know what it's gonna cost to bring it up.
No, it won't be a lot. You're probably talking maybe 6 or 8 loads of asphalt to repair it.
Money-wise,
Well, you're probably looking at about $1,500 a load, so
Can that be used to stay?
you're probably looking at $8,000 to $10,000.
On state aid? Can you use that state aid on that?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked to see if it's on the list. I don't.
It's on the
Well,
state, it's on the state
It
aid
is on the
list.
state aid list. And that's kind of strange that it's on the state aid list, but it ain't on our road list. So,
Well, that'd cost you a lot less than that'd be on that state aid. Well, it'd cost you
yeah,
$10,000 a state.
I don't know that we would need to, to use state aid money on it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
No bigger project than it is. My recommendation would be to use our money and use the state aid money elsewhere.
Well, I got a question, when that road was put in, did it ever go through a commission? Or what happened, how did it get thrown aside, I guess, or who voted to put it in, I guess?
That I don't know. I would say that the county applied for those funds for the industrial access. That's a program that I don't know if they've scrapped it by now or not, but it was pretty popular back then, helping counties with their industry, make it accessible to the state routes. But how it got dropped, I really don't know.
They spent the money on something else?
Probably.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add to what he's saying too, just to refresh y'all's memory. When we were recruiting Wacker, part of the incentive, and we had a huge incentive involved back then. But part of it was that the state would build this new road across through there, the industrial access road connecting to Olin and Upper River, Lower River, whichever it is, and close off the other road, which does go to the parking lot. So that other one got closed, and this new one got built by the state. The state did their part. They deeded it to the county. You guys went up there and named a portion of the road after somebody, but nobody ever bothered to take it in as a county road. You've actually put a sign up there naming it in honor of people, of a person. Yeah, when you turn on the Wacker Boulevard, look there on the right, you'll see a sign. So the county did all that, but they never took the road in. It was built and paid for by the state. So bottom line is it's got some repair issues, but in checking, he found out it had never been taken in. So it's just a simple thing of taking it in. There wasn't anything done wrong. We got a winding, narrow road replaced with a nice industrial access road out of the deal at the time. And a traffic light.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions? Well, we've got a vote and a second on it. All those in favor? Aye. And it's approved.
All right, next one's Brad Drive. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Apologize.
I think there's Tunnel Hill Bridge update too there on.
I had talked about that right after Brymer Creek. All right, yeah, so Sheffey Lane, it's slow working with the railroad, but we've got the engineering firm, LJA Engineering. They got a permit from the railroad a while back to do a survey out there. They got rained out, so they had to wait a couple more weeks. But they've got the survey done, and they're working on the drawings, and they're going to submit them hopefully in a couple weeks here to the railroad, and that's going to be a process. There's some back and forth. The railroad will do some reviews, send them back. But the guy at LJA has told me that he thinks we'll be able to get it done with construction and everything this year. It all kind of just depends on the railroad, though. So we'll keep you guys updated on that one.
If I could add to that, too.
Go ahead, Mayor.
This one's been a very long project, hasn't it, Tom? Predates Tom.
We had that one student killed there.
Right, and we immediately funded some money to improve it. But I think the railroad has a 100-foot right-of-way on each side, is that right? So they have a 100-foot right-of-way. The main thing that we've asked the road department to do is take the dip out to fix that problem, Tom. But that dip happens to be within that 100-foot right-of-way, and then, like he very nicely says, dealing with the railroad's not easy and very time-consuming. So this project's been going on 4 years, roughly. But they're getting a lot closer. I keep asking Tom about it. I said, we just need to take the dip out of the road, but it's on their right-of-way, so they have to approve it, and they have to have drawings and all this stuff, wasted stuff just for a dip. But that's where we're at and why it's taken so long.
Thank you, Mayor.
Why
Mr.
don't
Thompson.
the railroad take it out if it's on their right of way? Why don't the railroad take it out if it's on their right of way?
Well, they should, since they control everything, but we don't want to badmouth them right now. We want them to approve it, but anyway.
Well, it needs to be bad mouth. That kid got killed up there and there no arms on it or nothing.
It's on their right of way, but they wouldn't say they were responsible.
Well, I guess we'll have to call Biden.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Josh.
Moving on to Brad Drive. The Brad Drive situation was the road was in a couple spots. It's not the whole entire road. Outside of the right-of-way, when it got built, I think there's some mess up with the survey stobs. But we got another survey done showing that a few spots of the road are outside of the right-of-way. So our plan is to just move the road in the right-of-way. It's just a gravel road. It's not going to be a ton of work there, but we're putting that off until after the paving season. So after the paving season, we'll get out there and get everything fixed over there. Any questions on that one?
Can I add something on that? As I guess y'all remember, Mr. Delk coming in one night and one of our, I guess it was a work session or a road committee meeting or something, and he kept saying something about, his neighbor across from him was willing to buy the county's property. And I didn't understand what he was saying, because we weren't going to have any property to sell, regardless of whether we moved the road or not. But what he was saying was, but he didn't say it in the right words, that in front of Delk's house, we could leave the road where it's at. His neighbor would give him $15,000 for the land that he would be giving up to give us. It makes a little sense, but it didn't at the time because of the way he was wording it. He just kept saying that his neighbor was willing to buy our property, which we didn't have no property for sale. But it makes a little bit of sense, and I've I guess I wanted to get our county attorney's opinion on it to see if that's something that's, doable. Of course, there's a portion of it that doesn't involve these two property owners, so it would have to be moved off of these people's property. But anyway, that's something that we might get with the county attorney and see if that's doable, or and the way it is, it's going to leave one homeowner with a very steep driveway when we move the road closer to his house. So I don't know. Let me just talk to the county attorney and see if that is doable. We have did a little clearing out there too, so we've got a couple of projects, and we're just having to work on them as we have time, which is very little.
All right. The next one's Old York Road, and that's a similar situation to Brad Drive. But on the road list, we've got the road being a mile long, but when you go out there, the road's actually only about a third of a mile long. And we couldn't find any information on that, but we hired a survey to go out there, and he was able to find something showing there's at least half a mile of county road out there. I think when he completes the rest of the survey, it might show that there's a whole mile out there. But there's a couple lots out there that need driveways, and our plan is to extend the road out at least to where the houses are that are needing driveways to put in out there. So that's another one that's going to be a winter project after. It's most of it's asphalt, but then it turns into gravel road out there.
I'll give you a little history on that road. Tom knows what it was too. But we got a York Road off of Chester Road. Then you come back, you got the old York Road. Well, when they decided that was a road, it had trees that big around in the center of it. That's how long it'd been since that road. Well, we had a realtor that come in and had an old map, and he found out where the county had worked on that road at one time. And when he did, of course, when that happened, then we had to do something about it. Because if the county ever works on the road one time like that, well, usually they've got an argument that it should be taken in, and especially a realtor, if they want to buy that land, why, they want it taken in and at no charge if they can. Well, we cleared the road out up to a certain point and asphalted. And I think, Tom, you were in at that time when that happened, I think. Then we rode it the other day, and they're wanting it done all the way around. It's got to go all the way back around and come back out into York Road. It's going to cost a lot of money to do that because you got to have a 50-foot right-of-way if you're going to build a road there, and it's going to be a lot of dozer work there. I don't know what it'll cost, but I'd say it'll cost the county a lot of money to get that road put in. Because, if you, it's right away, and, you might clarify me there, Tom, if I've said something wrong or something, but that's the way it went, I think.
You're absolutely right. That, what it boils down to is you got a mile of county road. Half of it was developed, half of it wasn't. And now you have people, buying lots out there, and they're wanting a road, they're wanting driveway entrances, and we're between a rock and a hard place on it. You know, this one's not my fault. Brad Drive is. That one was my fault. But this one's not. This was just a county road that got put on the road list, that was never developed. I don't guess it was ever developed. Maybe somebody, yeah. But it is true. It goes, about a little over half a mile in a westerly direction, then it turns north and ties into York Road.
It's gonna cost quite a bit of time and, equipment and everything else. Cost the county a lot of money to do that.
All right, the last one is the striping update. So we have done about 20 different roads as of right now, and it comes out to about 50 miles that have been striped. We would have liked to do a little bit more, but it's been raining a lot. So, but we've got another 5 roads. I'll say the next 5 roads that we're going to do. It's going to be Truett Road, Harris Creek Road, Harris Creek Trail, Freewheel Road, and Mount Zion Road. And then after we get those 5 done, we'll add another 5, and we'll just keep on with the striping.
Question. And when the state aid roads are done, the state aid money pays for the striping, right?
Yeah, it doesn't come out of the 500,000. And the reason being, we include the striping on our state aid projects, because it only cost us 2 cents out of $1, because we get reimbursed 98%. So we don't want to use that 500,000 if we can buy a dollar
I agree.
for 2 cents.
I thought it included it. And is the striping including reflectors or?
Now, we are buying reflectors out of it. I think we bought 5,000 already out of it.
So even if it's a state aid road, they'll pay for the striping and you're adding the reflectors. Is that what you're saying?
Now, the projects we're working on now, we already had Shada Valley in the works before we got the striping money. So we did that on our out of, I think we did that out of the 500,000, didn't we? No, it was in there. But anyway, the projects we've got going now, we're including the striping, the raised pavement markers, stop bars, anything, everything. We're including everything on it. Just because the fact that it's.
So you're including it in all, which means it'll be state reimbursed then, all of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're not, in other words, if we do like Wacker Valley, you won't get a bill for the striping or reflectors or anything on it, because that'll be out of the state aid money. So.
How much of the 500 have you used?
About 25,000.
Yeah.
30,000. And here's why.
That's fine. I was just trying to keep track of our timetable.
I think it's I've sent the invoice to Renee, and I think the last invoice I've sent her was like 64 for what he's done.
64,000.
Yeah, there was the
26 to spend it on.
Till 26. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been appropriated. Yeah.
Here's where we're at on this. We're having a problem getting stripes down because of the weather. I have never, in all my years of fooling with roads, I've never seen a summer, a spring, summer, and almost fall as wet as this year is. We're getting call after call about the mowing. First of all, if it's pouring down rain, we don't put our mowers out there. It's hazardous. And if you're not out there and it's raining, the grass is growing. And so right now we can't keep up. Of course, I think they're predicting maybe a week or so of dry weather ahead now, but we've been behind on everything, on paving, striping, mowing, on account of the rain.
I feel your pain. I've been getting blistered pretty good with litter also, so I think we're all in the same boat together.
You think y'all getting blistered? Y'all have my phone.
Chairman Cry.
Oh, thank you very much. I would like to express my appreciation on Chatham Valley Road, the job that you all did. And for those of you who have not seen the professional work they're doing, it starts at the golf course, it goes all the way to the water filtration plant, new pavement, new striping, new reflectors. And I've gotten about, I think, 3 calls from residents in the 2nd District that really appreciate the work. Thank you.
I'll echo that too. I was on it the other day. Nice road.
What else you got there?
There's one more thing I was going to say.
Go ahead.
It's not on the agenda. It'll be in the additional stuff. Blackburn Hollow Road, we had talked about that at a few different meetings about moving the into right-of-way sign. We actually, so when we measure the length of the road using the GPS and the truck, it's a little bit different from what the actual survey is. So we went and checked the actual survey, and it ends exactly the spot where we wanted to move the sign to. So we went ahead and moved the sign up so people will have a little turnaround out there at the end of Blackburn Hollow Road. But that situation has been resolved.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Beatty's got some on the other business.
The commission officers received a call from Ronnie LeVay, I think that's his last name, who purchased a modular home from Clayton Homes 18 months ago and placed it at their property located at Georgetown Road Northwest, just past Bassett. As part of the purchase, they received a driveway tile and filed a tile request with the state of Tennessee, has yet to get the title placed. I understand this state road, but is there any way we could help him? It's been 8 months ago.
He's on Georgetown Road.
Yeah, past Vassey's or somewhere.
Yeah,
Any way we could help him? He said it'd been 8 months ago. Placed it at the property located at Georgetown Road, right past Vassey's.
I don't know how to help him other than maybe talk to somebody with TDOT,
See what the problem is.
yeah. If you'll give me the information,
Okay.
I'll call somebody.
Any other business before we go to communication from the audience? Chairman, go ahead there.
Well, before we get too far away from it, about Blackburn Hollow Road, about changing the distance on it a little bit, keep in mind that when we bring a road to you, that we're going to change the distance, whether it increases or decreases. Keep in mind that back when the road list was made, we didn't have these GIS measuring things or GPS measuring devices. They did it mostly with dump trucks and cars that might have a tenth of a mile thing on it or a trip odometer or something like that. Weren't very accurate. So now we have the modern GPS actuated measuring devices that are pretty accurate, and that's where we're finding a lot of the distances are not exactly right, so we want to correct them if we can.
I got a question. Hey, Tom, because I'm not good with where all these roads is at. Where is Blackburn Holler Road? Because I think of off of Blue Springs when you say Blackburn.
Okay, it's in the first district off of White Oak Valley Road.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay. That's all I need to know.
okay.
I was gonna tell, them, the invoice was for 65.5 is what we've sent over to Renee right now. That's the first invoice of just the regular roads, not state aid stuff, just regular roads. I'm sorry? It's been sent to Renee. I don't know. It's been sent to her, it was emailed to her. I'm sure it has. It was emailed to Emily and Callie on 7/17, so I'm sure it has been.
Okay.
Out of that PO.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I think we're fixing to end this. I just, first of all, want to say, Josh, great job. I know Tom
Thank you.
normally does that, and you got to do that, but I personally want to thank Tom because I had some issues with the mowing. Me and Tim, I think, both have had issues with people calling. You know, I told you, we talked. And these people are calling. I think one of them, Tim was telling me yesterday, one called him and said, complained about it, and then called him and said, oh, they're out there now. Ain't that what you told me, Tim? And so I had the same thing yesterday. I called you and told you that I got a call from the gentleman we were talking about, thanking me, wanting me to, thanking me, and I told him, don't thank me. Call Tom Collins and thank him and thank your crew, all your guys that do the work that they do diligently. We don't realize, I mean, you know, we think that roads are easy. These people that call me, you know, they're like, I don't understand why you ain't got these ditches done. Well, I'm sure Tom will let you hop your little happy butt right up on there and bush hog away. And see how you like it slide off into a ditch. That's what I try to explain to these people. When it's raining and you get one of these big tractors and this thing rolls over on you, I've seen it at the hospital. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It'll take your life. It'll take your life quick. So I just want to thank and commend your whole staff for the job that you do.
We get a lot of calls. I mean, I get calls from friends and relatives that they'll call in and say, hey, can you get the mower over here at my place? And we don't do that. Our guys and girls are on a route, and we try our best to keep them on that route. Just like the fella you talked to you the other day, he wanted us to pick up, come and mow his road, and I think it got mowed the next day or the day after, and our guys stayed on the route. So it's important to us that we don't do a whole lot of deadheading, is what I call it. When you're going down the road not mowing, you're deadheading. So we don't like to do that.
I think lots of our residents don't know they are 800 square miles of Bradley County alone, so it's huge. Yeah. Commissioner Thompson.
Okay, I got a couple of things I need to ask you about the property that Rob Renner owns out on 64 Highway and the road that we wanted to come off 64 on Ms. Fennell's property. Have we heard anything on that?
I hadn't heard a thing on it.
Okay. You want me to follow up with her on that and see?
Yeah, or what's his name, Randy?
Randy Howard.
Howard. I think he's the one that's sort of representing her, Miss Fennell. Yeah, if you don't care, check with Randy and see where they're at. I was out there the other day. I can't really see that there's a lot of work going on right now, but with the rain, there's not going to be a lot of work going on.
I'd just like to see them houses built out there. We need that population, need that tax money. But anyway, there's one other, Tom and I have been over there 3 or 4 times. It's on Tilly Drive. And we've got a problem over there that's, it's a county road at dead ends. Then you've got another road that turns off of Tilly Drive. And, I get a call on this about 3 times a week and don't know what I've done about it. I said, well, we haven't done nothing about it really because it's your all's problem to do the survey to see where your line is. But what I'd like to do, I know, Tom, it costs a lot of money to get a surveyor every time you turn around. But when you got a problem like this, why, they just keep demanding that you get a survey on it or tell where the road goes to and where it ends or whatever. But, I think that the last time we checked on the road list, it just goes so far up off of Tilly Road. And I talked to the Tillys about that, and he said if that just goes to his driveway, he said he would go along with that. And I think it's just so many feet off of Tilly Drive at that road, what's that other road name, you know, the name of it, goes to the left.
I thought it was all one and the same.
One
I mean,
thing,
it's,
yeah. But I think it's just so many feet off of that, and I don't know if we can look at the road list and check that again, and if I can get him off my back.
we at the road department, we get into these neighborly and sometimes family feuds, and we try our best to stay clear of them. And this one, you know, we were getting involved in it, and it wasn't going one of them's way, and he said he was get an attorney. So usually if they say they're getting an attorney, we totally back out of it, and we let the attorneys battle it. And that's kind of where we're at on that one. Another thing is they have a problem, and I look at it this way: the road department doesn't.
Right.
We don't have a problem. So why should we use the road department money to buy a survey when we don't have a problem? All we're doing is trying to settle something between two that's not getting along. And I just can't see it. I can't see that. And if them two want to go get lawyers and go to court and stuff, that's fine. And I'm sure we would be drawn into it. But I'd really rather stay clear of them.
Could we get a measurement from the Tilly Drive up that road and see how far it goes? I think we said before it's 100 and something feet.
Well, here's where I'm at on that.
Okay.
I've learned through the years not to put a whole lot of confidence or faith in your road list, what it says. Because if somebody produces a survey that says otherwise, that's what you're going to go by. You remember on Elkmont Road with the doctor there that wouldn't let us clear the fence line out, and his deed said this, our right of way said that. Well, he won. He got an attorney, and his deed held true. So I've learned not to trust the
Yeah, I know
road
what you're talking
department's road list all that much.
But anyway, I just want to bring that up again. In fact, he called me again last night on it. But anyway, we'll try to work it out with him, get it worked out. I'll get back with you. And I've got a road list. I'll take it over to him, show it to him. Maybe we can maybe he can determine where it ends up.
Right.
But I told him he needed to get a survey still that stuff. Anyway, what I wanted to get to that these surveys, Tom does a lot of surveying. It's just like over on this York Road, had to survey all that. At some point, it costs a lot of money to survey. I probably don't have a line item for that, do you? For surveying.
It's not just the cost of the survey, it's the time factor. If you need like Brad Drive and Old York Road, we've been about 8 months getting the survey done. So, I mean, you don't just call one up one day and he'll be there the next, but it's not just the money, it's the time frame.
Well, it's bad to take away from asphalt and that's spend on a survey. That's my thought.
Looking around for anyone else? Oh, yeah. Mayor, you good? Gilbert?
Lady named of Erica Hams is over, if you go to the golf course on Bakes Pike, or Benton Pike, and turn back off of, Hancock Road. She lives right in that real sharp curve where it turns around, and her driveway's kind of backed in, and she's asked, is there any way she can get a hidden driveway sign? I don't know if do you put up hidden driveway signs?
We have.
But she's right there. And then I heard one time, my brother lives in Willbrook Circle. And one time Howard had a sign put up there, no parking on the sides of the road. And it was right as you come in the entrance of it, and that sign's gone now. But there's several of them in there that wants to know if there's any possible way of getting some no parking signs back through there. I went to my brother's house the other day, and you had to go completely back around the road to actually get to his driveway. And that'd be it. Me.
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, and I hope, I would hope that the sheriff's department would enforce it, because we have had them put up and it weren't enforced. One of them I'm thinking of is where Jeff Yarber used to live. I can't remember the name of Somerset, yeah. Sunset or Somerset, but yeah, we put them up, but they continued to park on the road, so.
I know he said when y'all put that one up the last time, the parking ceased. People stopped parking on the side of the road. And now the sign's gone. But it was one sign as it first come in, they stopped parking as you started. It was parking actually on the side of the road. You start up in the subdivision. And they quit parking there. But they're all around the subdivision. If there's any possible way of getting it done, they would absolutely appreciate it.
It causes us a problem too, like when we want to pave a subdivision, you've got to go through there and give them notice that you're going to be paving and that you need your car moved on such and such date. So we're going through that right now.
I bet. I bet you get a lot of them calls about subdivisions. No parking.
Yeah.
I know we've had problems with that, and Sheriff Department's been pretty good about taking care of that sometimes.
Yeah.
But in a subdivision, it's not like out on the main road somewhere, or just a side road. 'Cause they get many people there sometime at their house, and they ain't got enough driveway to park, so park at the road.
That's the truth. There's nowhere else to park.
There's just one more request I'd like is, I'd like a stop sign at my driveway on 64.
You need it.
Yeah.
You need more than a stop sign. You need a red
That's a
light.
hazard. Or a traffic light, one don't make no difference.
Any communication from the audience?